Hey everybody, quick gear review today. This is the Yamaha 480 tenor sax. Nice horn. This is Yamaha's intermediate line of saxophones, the 480 series. So let me play a little bit and then I will let you know my thoughts on it. All right, so here are my thoughts on this horn. The price on this horn, that's probably the most important thing that people want to know, is going to come in right around $3,000. So this 480 series took the place of Yamaha's 52 series, which was their intermediate line. At one point they had their student line 23, their intermediate 52, and then their pro 62. And as a music teacher for like more than 30 years, when they came out with that 52, boy, that was the best thing to buy for schools because it was a pro horn wrapped up in an intermediate price. Now, what it didn't have all the bells and whistles, like the 52s didn't have engraving on the bell. But these 480s that took the place of the 52s, they do have some engraving. They look nice. Those 52s, though, they were incredible horns. They felt just like a 62, but just didn't have all the, like I said, the case wasn't as nice, was no engraving. The lacquer coating was, a little weird, maybe like a little yellowish, but boy, they were great horns. So when Yamaha stopped making them, I was a little bit sad because, again, we purchased a lot of them over the years where I work. So now we've purchased some of these 480s. And again, they're great horns. They're not the intermediate price, though. Now everything is expensive these days. So again, this one is going to run you right around $3,000, $3,200 or whatever. But a pro horn is going to be 45 to 48, maybe even more. I mean, if you're looking at a vintage horn, I mean, good night. You're looking at over $7,000. I saw one today at like over $7,000. So, and you can go even higher than that. But if you're looking at around $3,000, anywhere between that $2,800 to $3,500 range, and you want to get a horn that is, that's great. Like I would play this on gigs, no problem. It would take me a while to get used to it because it doesn't feel like my JL Woodwind's horn. By the way, my JL Woodwind's horn is in the shop. Nothing wrong with it. It's getting a well checkup. So I tried to get it, in for service at least once a year. And I don't have any gigs over this next week or so. So anyway, this is a good time. But this Yamaha, I would take this on gigs, no problem. This plays really in tune. Anything that's out of tune is me. The horn itself is like super in tune. Really great. These palm keys are in typical Yamaha fashion. They're out a little bit further, so they're really easy to grab, and they have a really nice open quality to them. And it's got a high F sharp key, which I don't ever use because my horn does not have a high F sharp key, and I didn't have one on my 6, obviously. although I have seen later Model 6s that did have them, Mark 6s, but my JL Woodwind, I asked not to have it, but it's nice. It's very in tune on this Yamaha, because that's how I would play it normally, my F sharp. But the altissimo on this, these notes pop out. I mean, it's a little squirrely up there. Sorry about that. But again, really great horn. And if you've got the money, I mean, I think it's a great horn for the money, especially if you don't have the $4,500 to, I don't know, $90,000. No, but if you don't have all that money for a pro horn, this is a great horn. I would consider this like a pro horn. I mean, no one that plays this would ever think, oh, this is just an intermediate horn. It plays like a pro horn. Okay, but it just ends up being in their 480 series, their intermediate series. All right, Yamaha, right here. If I did have any kind of criticism on the horn, Yamahas don't necessarily have a lot of character to me in the tone. It's not real complex. It's just kind of like very homogeneous. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because most of the tone happens here. Well, all the tone happens here. It's what you hear. But as far as what you can do on the horn, it is more of a homogeneous sound, but that's pretty typical of Yamahas. But they are great horns. So there you go, Yamaha 480.